full moon rising. Outside night is falling. You hear the wolfmen calling and hide under your bed. Dry your eyes, hon. He's only feeling blue and might like to talk to you and make a friend. I know you're scared. It's only natural to be scared of the things that we don't understand. In the morning, we can talk about it. Maybe think about it too. 'Cause monsters are a lot like me. They're a lot like me and you. Monsters, monsters.
Hello, little monsters. This is Princeton Vice from the future. And by that I mean the present. So, last year I had the pleasure of joining horror host Ruby Tombsday in her Screams of Pride weekend. The headline guest for the event was none other than Lloyd Kaufman himself. Real subtle with that name drop, Princey. Memento Murray was there too. We raised lots of money for the Trevor Project, which is a great cause, but more on that later. The film I hosted for the event was the 1959 version of The Bat, starring Agnes Moorehead and Vincent Price. Well, 1 year later, and that episode had yet to be released to the full public. Until now. For old fans of my show, the format is going to be a little different than normal. This is a recording of a live online show with some minor edits. We talk during the movie, but it's not a full riffing. It's more of a few witty comments here and there, a few observations. At certain times during the host segments, I might be responding to comments made in the original chat. Joining me is Ruby Tombsday, the event's organizer and horror host herself. You can watch the Ruby Tombsday show on Stream Lounge and follow her on Facebook at Tombsday's Toy Shop. I'm also joined by Kelvira, aka Kelly of the Rocky Horror Minute and the Sonic Transducers. So take it away, Princeton Vice of the past. Hey, we got Ruby in the chat. Yay, Ruby! Hello, hello. I'm glad actually to be on a show for you for once.
This is great.
You're looking fabulous.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You're quite dapper yourself.
Oh, why, thank you. It is very hot in this room.
That's why I'm in this one now. We're converting this walk-in closet into my new office, my new studio, because the bedroom's the one place in the house that has air conditioning.
Oh,
so
that's a smart idea. As opposed to me, who is like, it's a very hot. What should I do? I should wear the 3-piece suit. That's a great plan. All right. So eventually, I'm going to... we've got supposedly 2 other people joining in here. Yeah. Looks like one of them's having some login issues. But I'll go more detail about this movie in a little bit. But it's my sister turned me onto it. It's a fun little old Vincent Price, Agnes Moorehead, who you'll recognize from Bewitched. Although technically speaking, everyone knows, Vincent Price, Vincent Price, Vincent Price. He's technically supporting one. She's the star, and she rocks every scene she's in. But I'll go. You'll see more when you actually see it. It's also public domain for all the people who like doing horror hosting on other platforms too. In the meantime, I'm going to get
actually one of my favorites.
Oh, great! In the meantime, I'm going to get to show off Murray, who I finally added the eyeballs to.
Fantastic! I have a skull staff here that is named Murray as well. I don't know if I can get him out from where he's wedged. So this is my Murray.
Except no imitation. This is like kind of weird. It's like when you go to those awkward family reunions and you're like, am I supposed to know you? Or are you like someone who are you the plus one?
I go to family reunions. They're all hoping I'm the plus one. It's mutual. It's okay.
As long as it's mutual. That's the important part. Symmetry. It's all about symmetry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Two of my friends coming in, Leandra and Kelly, who might have some stage names. We'll find out. But they're from the... they do two things on their own, which I'm sure you'll hear about later on. The Rocky Horror Minute, which is a podcast where they literally dissect Rocky Horror minute by minute. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That is awesome.
They're also part of the Sonic Transducers, which is the DC cast. They've had what's his name on the show lots of time. Brad. Oh gosh, what's his name?
Barry Bostwick.
Barry Bostwick. Thank you. Yes. I think for the Christmas special they got him to play Santa Claus.
Awesome. I was a Shadowcast member in Austin, Texas for a while.
There you go. Austin seems a place that would have that. I don't know it from reputation.
I do miss Austin, but I also kind of miss an Austin that's starting not to be there anymore. You know? But yeah, I was Eddie and a couple of times Dr. Scott for their Shadowcast there.
Dr. Scott!
Bullwinkle!
No, I mostly played Riff Raff just because I'm a huge I can't think names right now. My friends are there. Richard O'Brien fan. So fun thing is I grew up in England as a kid, and one of my huge inspirations was watching a TV show called The Crystal Maze, which was kind of escape rooms before there were escape rooms. It was escape room, the TV show.
Cool.
And normally you'd have for most of these hosts, they're like, you normally have in a typical show, like, you've got a minute left. You got to get out of this room fast. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Ramping up the tension. He'd do the opposite. They'd be screaming in the background going, put the thing on top of the other thing. You turn this around here. And he'd be just monologuing to the camera like, so I sat with mommy this morning, or talk about, talking about life, or pull out harmonica and play a song. And it was Richard O'Brien, bedecked in head to toe with leopard print and just looking fabulous. And it's just like, oh, I was fascinated with this person even before I knew what Rocky Horror was.
That is awesome.
What a strange figure to put in a kid's TV show.
That would be splendid. I wish we had something like that down here. Instead, we got Mark Summers.
Yeah.
Not the same thing.
Yeah. Who, fun fact, is one of a very public figure with severe OCD.
Truth. Can you imagine what that must have been like going through Double Dare for all those seasons with OCD?
Oh, good. I can only imagine. Like, no, too much green everywhere. No, don't touch me, kid. No. Yeah, you won. Great. Don't hug me.
Yeah. Starts sounding like WC goes, go away, kid. You bother me.
Never worked with kids or animals. Always want to be a contestant on that show. That was I never got a chance to. Kira got to see tapings of it. I'm jealous. Although the one I always wanted to do was the one where they did the dash through Toys R Us. You got 5 minutes in the shopping cart, just run through Toys R Us. That was the one that every single kid was like, I will kill someone. I will stab someone in the back to the spleen to get in line to do this thing. My grandma used to do that for me as a child. What, like let you go crazy through the store and just give you 5 minutes and go kid, go. 300. That's nice. That is beautiful. That is one sweet. You're a lucky kid if your grandmother gave you $300. But again, I think the time limit is part of it. She was just like, I'm going to drop this handkerchief by the time it hits the floor. My brother, of course, was the one who gamed the system and go, just go to the video game aisle and just get a whole one card. Just one card of just Nintendos. You can sell them later on and cash in all the money. He was 10 years old and he was already working the angles. Yeah, sorry, technical issues. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
So anyway.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. Discuss.
So I told him, Julie, don't go. Julie, don't go. It's the Ides of March. Beware already. But did you listen to me now?
In the meantime, I'll go ahead and tell people a little bit about this movie. So this is The Bat. It is one of the many iterations of based on a play. Originally written by Mary Roberts Reinhardt. Originally wrote The Circular Staircase, which was a dark house mystery novel kind of thing. And was quickly adapted to say, hey, make a play out of this. And it became this terrible, terrible melodrama, which did very, very well. So popular, in fact, that there was many different spin-offs and variations of it, including one of which was a parody version of it. They took it even more terrible and over the top. The play version was actually called The Bat 2. And the parody version was actually called The Gorilla, which is actually a movie starring Bela Lugosi. And I think that one is actually played straight. So it's another copy of, the imitation of the imitation is trying to be scary when it's not. Reinhardt actually was a very prolific mystery writer, was a huge, huge rival and contemporary of Agatha Christie. And the quiz for today is, she invented which of the following literary devices? A, little did she know. B, the butler did it. Or C, the locked room mystery. So the options are little did I know, the butler did it, or the locked room mystery. Nerd Cafe singing the butler always dopes it? That's a different movie.
Pour your own drinks, kids. Pour your own drinks. I did.
There you go. I just got iced tea.
Iced tea is my other glass, actually. I've got both.
There you go. Got a double dip.
I'm going to say the locker room mystery.
Locker room mystery. Gotcha. Well, the answer is A and B. Locker room mystery, unfortunately, Edgar Allan Poe came up with. Spoilers, it was the gorilla that did it. No, the orangutan. Sorry, the orangutan that did it. Because if it's a locked room, obviously the answer is it's an orangutan. Bonobo? Was it a bonobo? I might have got it wrong. Very strong primate of some type. Its tail, it's got an ape. I'm trying to remember the VeggieTales song about ape and the monkey. I don't know. I was just saying the name of the ape I knew. Yep, that could be right.
That's fair.
All right, and the other two she actually came up with. She came up with the literary device, Little Did I Know, which of course immediately makes you think of Stranger Than Fiction, where that was the big thing of Little Did I Know was a huge plot point in that. And the butler did it. She also came up with that too. Let's go on to one last question here. Now, there was a previous version of the film, at least one previous version of this film, including a silent movie one. The silent movie was a huge inspiration for which of the following people? Vincent Price, Bob Kane, or Steven Spielberg?
I'm going to go with Bob Kane.
Bob Kane. All right. So we got one for Bob Kane. Anyone else? I got one my wife does not know. Ha ha! That's rare. She knows everything. She's so smart. I said a rare one. Honey, I love you. I'm sorry. I love you. Don't listen. The answer is Bob Kane. You're absolutely right. The earlier iteration of this movie was an inspiration for Batman. Bob Kane being one of the co-creators of Batman. Vincent Price was inspired, but he was inspired by the stage version.
That makes sense.
And when he said, hey, do you want to do the Bat? He's like, yes, please, let me in. Spielberg was not inspired by this. I just love bringing up Spielberg because I still remember the Trivial Pursuit about him, which was he ran screaming out of... The question was, true or false, that Steven Spielberg run screaming out of the movie theater watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs when The Witch came on? And the answer is false. He ran screaming out of the room as a little kid when The Seven Dwarfs came on. So, if that's true, he's never living that down. If it's false, he's also still never living that down.
No. Yeah.
All right. So
That's awesome.
Give it... all right, in the meantime, any of your favorite Vincent Price films? Please comment in the chats. Which ones do you like? Which ones are you a huge fan of? In the meantime...
One of my all-time favorites is House on Haunted Hill. Dearly, dearly love that movie. I have a weird fondness for The Last Man on Earth, too.
I just covered that last one on my YouTube channel, so...
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, I made it a pandemic special of how to advise on surviving a pandemic, which in a hypothetical situation. Oh, we got the abominable Mr. Fight. House of Wax. I've not seen House of Wax, but I love Dr. Fipes. Where it's if you've never seen it, it's like the tame 1960s version of Saw, where it's just let's have revenge torture porn in outlandish, like almost like cartoonish ways.
I just did Fives and House of Wax here recently, actually.
Nice. How'd it go?
Oh, I loved it. It was a blast. I wanted to do Fives rides again, but we didn't get to it. So it just means I'll do it again later.
There you go. It's not going anywhere.
I've also thought about doing a marathon one weekend of bad old Universal movies revolving around apes, because you have like 2 or 3 with Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
1 or 2 with Karloff, because he did the ape. I think was his last film.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Or 1 or close to at the end, anyway. And you can kind of tell. You watch the movie, it's like, oh, you needed beer money, didn't you?
Oh.
Yeah, but this it did not deserve his death scene, which was inevitable because of the type of movie it was. But it was far better than the movie deserved. So was he. But I think it'd be great, and then maybe throw in the Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn Gorilla.
There you go, like you do. And Ruby, if you don't mind, remind us, what's this fundraiser for people who are new? If that's okay.
All right, folks. Absolutely. We are doing all of this weekend, 28 hours worth of films over 3 days, to raise money for the Trevor Project. For those who don't know, the Trevor Project is pretty much the leading resource for suicide prevention, crisis intervention, and resources for LGBTQIA plus youth. Every year they're involved in saving lives and making lives better. And right now there's just daily mounting new challenges to the LGBTQ community, particularly for our kids. And these sources are absolutely crucial to survival. So the Trevor Project gives a safe, monitored, fully staffed, 24/7 available resource for all kinds of things, just like how to deal with all the challenges that just come with expressing your identity and learning about yourself, and how to accept, how to grow, all those things, as well as suicide prevention, crisis intervention, all of these things as well, connecting with resources in their area, just making sure that they can do everything they can to help these kids have a peaceful and successful life, which is getting harder and harder to do, particularly in states like Texas and Florida as examples. So what we're doing here is celebrating Pride Month the way we like to do, with all of our favorite movies, hanging out with our community, having fun, and at the same time doing a good thing and helping all of these kids have a brighter future, and in some cases a future. So we're out to, over the course of the weekend, raise $1,000. It's going directly to the Trevor Project. All the donations are going straight to them. We don't handle any of it, so they don't have to worry about losing any of what we've raised in transfer fees and things like that. They get 100% of every donated cent. And Sean was nice enough to post our URL there in the chat, so that's available for you. I agree. The Trevor Project is awesome. And as of at least an hour ago, anyway, we were at $531 of our $1,000 goal already, and we're not halfway through the weekend. So we have some donations coming in still too from other sources that are really going to boost that total. So every penny is needed. I will not complain at all if we manage to blast past that $1,000. That's just going to do more good for more people over more time. So there's nothing wrong with that. But this is how we manage to have a good time, celebrate Pride, and work on our community all at the same time.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Anytime.
And, all right. And so I think let's go ahead and continue for now. I'm going to go and start the show. And there's some particular reasons why I picked this particular one for this particular project, but I'll get to that later on. In the meantime, you people are probably anxious, so let's go ahead and roll the bat. The music sounds very Batman.
It does. Almost Mancini.
A house in the country which I rented for the summer. As an author, I write tales of mystery and murder. But the things that happened in this house were far more fantastic than any story I've ever had published. I brought a staff of servants from my city apartment, and my maid Lizzie Allen, who had been with me nearly 20 years.
Lizzie?
Yes, Miss Cornelia.
Is the car ready?
It's at the door. Look, Miss Cornelia, them servants you brought from the apartment are talking about walking out on us.
Really? Well, I know they don't like it here, but I didn't think it was that bad.
Well, they've been hearing things about the killer that the police call the Bat and the murders that he committed here this past winter. Now people are saying that he's back again.
Well, how can they be sure of that? Has he committed another crime?
No, not yet, but that ain't saying that he won't. Here's something else. You've heard about the bats they have here. Animal bats, the kind that fly.
Yes, yes.
Look what it says in this magazine. This is a report from the State Health Department, and it says some of them bats is rabid.
Well.
And that ain't all. Now there's a rumor going around that it was the bat himself, the killer, I mean, that released the rabid bats in this neighborhood.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Well, the housekeeper, the cook, the butler, and the upstairs maid don't think so.
Well, I can't help but they think. If hysterical nonsense like that can scare them out of their good jobs, it's their loss, not mine. Come on, Lizzie, I've got to get to the bank. Drive directly to Zenith Bank, Warner. I'm afraid we'll have to hurry. It's near closing time.
I'll get you there, Miss Van Gorder.
Thanks again.
Miss Van Gorder.
How do you do, Mr. Barry?
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. You remember Lizzie Allen?
Of course. Hello, Miss
How
Allen.
do you do?
So you're spending the summer with us again?
Yes, yes. I've leased the Oaks, the home of your bank president, John Fleming.
I heard you had. I was surprised.
Why? Is there something the matter with it?
No. I was surprised because Mr. Fleming said he would never rent it.
Oh? Well, I rented it from his nephew, Mark Fleming, who has the real estate office here. He said his uncle would be gone the entire summer.
That's right. Mr. Fleming's in the North Woods now with his physician, Dr. Wells. Oh, pardon me. Dale, I want you to meet my wife. We were married at Christmas time.
That must have been nice.
Believe me, it was. Oh, here she is.
Oh, dear.
My
How
wife,
do you
Miss
do?
Van Gorder, Miss Allen.
How do you do, Mrs.
How do you
Bailey?
do? Cornelia Van Gorder.
Yes.
Oh, well, I've read every murder mystery you've ever written. I just adored that weird one, The Private Morgue of Dr. X, even though it gave me the shivers.
Only the shivers? Scared hell out of me.
Oh.
Well, I really mean that Miss Corney killed them off in that one.
When you refer to my books, please don't call me Miss Corney.
Pardon me, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Hines is here to see you. Oh, yes. Excuse me, please. Don't be strangers now.
No,
Oh,
no,
I
we
should
won't.
say not.
Oh, so you're a bride.
Well, not quite.
Not since Christmas.
You know, I'm sure I've seen you.
Well, I used to be my husband's secretary here in the bank.
Of course I remember.
May I welcome our most distinguished visitor back to Zenith?
Oh, that's very charming, but,
Lieutenant Anderson.
Lieutenant Anderson, of course. Chief of Detectives of the Zenith Police Department. This is Miss Allen.
Miss Allen?
How do you do?
Lieutenant Anderson is one of our favorite citizens. He's on the bank's board of directors.
Not bad for a policeman.
You must have made a good thing of it.
Well, I saved my money, if that's what you mean.
It's near closing time, and I've got some business in the safe deposit vault. Please come and see me, Mrs. Bailey.
Oh, I'd love to.
And you, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Nice to meet you. My, what a charming woman. She moved into the Oaks just the other day.
That house is a proper setting for a writer-of mysteries.
Oh, it certainly is. Vic, what's the matter?
Come in here, both of you. Andy, we're in trouble. Wendell Hines came in to pick up $350,000 worth of bonds that we were holding as collateral for a loan. They were kept in our special vault. Mr. Fleming and I are the only officers of the bank who have access to that vault.
So?
The Hines bonds are gone. That's not all. Other negotiable securities are missing. From what I can gather, short of a careful check, the bank has been looted of over $1 million worth of securities.
You'll have to notify Fleming.
I wish I could talk to him. Unfortunately, he and Dr. Wells are deep in the woods. They can't be reached by phone.
Hi, I'm pausing for just a second here. Because we now have our third co-host has finally come in. Hello, introduce yourself.
Hi, sorry, I had some technical difficulties, but my name is Kelly Hansen, and I don't think that my lovely co-host is going to be joining me tonight, Leandra, but she sends her regrets.
Oh, that's right. It's good to have you. This is the Kelly I mentioned, who is also part of the Rocky Horror Minute. Again, we're watching the bat. We've only about a few minutes in. Feel free to talk and comment, and if you and we'll everyone say hi, Kelly.
Hello, Kelly.
This is
Hi, Kelly.
I don't think Kelly has to say hello, Kelly. Okay. And this is my co-mate. Her name is Ruby Tombsday.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
And on with the show.
What is it?
I thought I heard someone on the path coming from the lake. Had an idea it might be that guide of ours.
Oh, Sam won't show up until morning. It's a 20-mile canoe trip from here to civilization.
5 will get you 10. Sam has a message for me.
I thought you told him at the bank not to bother you.
I did, but they'll bother me.
You know, two guys out in the woods, all alone.
Doctor.
Yes, John.
What would you do for $500,000?
Anything short of murder.
Why not murder?
Too messy.
Too great a risk?
For $500,000? Yes.
I pinched $1 million from the bank. Well, I'm not kidding. I embezzled it.
Not that I think you wouldn't do it if you thought you could get away with it.
I got away with it. I'm not talking about currency. I took negotiable securities that could be converted into cash. I have the cash. In 10s, 20s, and 100s.
Well, I'm your doctor, not your lawyer. Why tell me this?
You'll find out why.
Who's going to take the blame for the robbery?
Bailey, the cashier. They'll never suspect me.
I like Bailey.
Well, so do I. I love the guy. I gave him his first chance.
He has a lovely little wife.
Charming girl. Was the best man.
Where's the $1 million?
In my family's tomb in Zenith. In the crypt with my father's casket.
I don't buy that, John.
No?
No. You forget that I had you in charge when you were a very sick man. When you raved in delirium. And I heard you talk about a hidden room. Now, where else could you put a hidden room except in that mansion you built? That white elephant you call the Oaks.
Look, everyone knows I have a bad heart.
What kind of fish are they hunting?
Now, who would doubt it if you wired the bank directors that my heart had failed? That I had fallen from a great height here in the woods, and that I was badly smashed up. You could ship the body back for burial and instruct them not to open the casket due to the condition of its contents.
Well, you realize, of course, that we'd have to have a body to put in that casket, which means that we'd have to deal with an undertaker at this end.
Of course.
Well, where do we get a body?
Couldn't we provide one of our own? How about Sam?
Sam, our guide?
Sam weighs about as much as I do. He's practically a hermit. He wouldn't be missed for a long time.
The local undertaker would know him.
Not if we made him look as if he'd been in a serious accident.
But if Bailey's going to take the blame, why'd he have to do this?
A jury might acquit him. In that case, I'd be a logical suspect. I could disappear, of course, but it's safer if they think I'm dead.
What if I don't go for this deal?
In that case, it would be too bad.
It's too bad for you, but not for Sam.
Right?
You mean you'd kill me?
What else could I do? Now that I've told you about the $1 million, I'd say you were shot in a hunting accident. Now, look, Doctor, if you can find another body instead of Sam's, it's all right with me. There's $500,000 in it for you.
I'll do my best.
I smell smoke.
So do I. What's that noise?
Look, Doctor, the woods are on fire.
Is that a coincidence or it's California?
We've got to get out of here. Out the back way.
We will. As soon as I provide that body we were talking about.
Do no harm. It's only model.
Sick thought will not go. Just a silly place.
Goodness, dear. Lizzie, is that you? Yes, Miss Cornelia. There's a storm coming up, and it's gonna be a snorter. The wind nearly blew the door off its hinges.
Well, that noise blew my game higher than a kite. I think I've lost some of the cards.
Oh, I'll get them for you.
Oh, I see you found the paper.
Drat that paper boy, scooting by on his bicycle, just chucked it into a clump of bushes and let it go at that. For land's sake, Mr. Vic Bailey's been arrested.
Oh?
I think.
Victor Bailey, vice president and cashier of the Zenith Bank, was arraigned before United States Commissioner Alvin Fielding, charged with the embezzlement of over $1 million. I can't believe Vic Bailey had anything to do with that robbery. Oh, well, I see our landlord is home again.
Landlord?
Mr. Fleming. Oh. Dr. Malcolm Wells is back in town with the body of John Fleming, president of the Zenith Bank, who was killed in a forest fire. Mr. Fleming will be laid to rest in his family's tomb
Landlord's
on
back.
Friday.
He's dead. That's a little dark.
He stays there.
Well,
We got the landlord's back,
Well, this
but,
is his
the
house.
front was too burned.
And
We
ever
couldn't find
since
it.
he died, some funny things have happened here.
For instance?
The housekeeper, the cook, and the butler said that they heard strange noises at night. And the upstairs maid swore that she met a man without a face coming up the back stairs.
Oh, so that's why they quit and left me to run this place without a staff.
They didn't tell you, Miss Corney, but the truth is they were scared to stay.
But you're still here, Lizzie. Haven't you seen anything?
No. No, and even if I had, I ain't afraid of ghosts. They're afraid of me. Honest, Miss Corney. A spiritualist told me once that ghosts was allergic to me.
She's great. She's actually the director's wife.
But this Bat feller they keep talking about in the paper, I guess he'd be different.
No, I don't think you would have the same effect on him.
I know, that my brain went there too.
Oh, dear. What are they trying to do? Drive people away from this part of the country?
Why, what does it say about the bats?
Specialty seems to be killing women. My goodness, 2 of them in one night. All his victims died the same way, like their throats had been ripped open with steel claws.
That's a charming little caper. I'll have to try it sometime.
In a book.
And maybe real life, if I'm bored.
You know, the steel-clawed bats, you know, like you see on the Judas Priest album.
Something against the house. That's just the wind banging a door. Pay no
I
attention
love that
to
it's
it.
the maid who's the calm one going,
Listen
yeah,
to
yeah,
this.
you're fine.
One of his victims, who lived for a moment after she was found, described the bat as a man without a face. Honest, Miss Corney, I think that woman must have been exaggerating. That's just that heavy tapestry at the top of the stairs.
I know. I've heard it before on a windy night. That sounds as if there was someone on the stairs. I know there isn't. At least there shouldn't be.
There ain't. Them's just the noises you hear in any old house on a windy night. It says here that the bat never leaves no fingerprints.
That's understandable. Having no face, he probably has no fingers either. Lizzie! And that, I suppose, is the cat dropping its dentures.
No, I don't think so. But I think it's something should be looked into. Now, who chucked him down here?
The wind, I hope. There must be a window open up there. No, Lizzie. Let him lay. Let him sleep it off.
He needs to sleep.
I hope the power lines don't go down, put the lights out.
He was on his feet for like 50 years.
Check the windows in the living room and draw the curtains, and then we'll go to bed.
Yes, ma'am.
Oil can.
I won't be a minute. Gordy! Oh! What's that? Oh, I went to get the tape. I turned the latch off. I forgot to turn it on again. He's out there. He was coming in. He might have got you.
Oh, but he didn't, and he's still out there, thanks to you. Now, you hurry now, and then we'll call the police.
No, I won't leave you, Miss Corney.
Are you okay?
Yes, ma'am, I'm okay.
Okay.
Operator?
Give me the police department, please.
Zenith Police Department.
This is Cornelia Van Gorder. I'm living at the Oaks.
We know about that, Miss Van Gorder.
Just a moment ago, a man tried to force his way into this house.
You're not alone there, are you? What about your servants?
Well, I have none except my chauffeur, and he's away. He won't be back until the morning. Now, there's only 2 of us here tonight, and we're going to lock ourselves in my room. Now, if any of your men see anything, will you have them call me?
I'll send officers over there right away.
Well, thank you very much. Come on, Lizzie. We're going to sleep in my room. Well, nothing can get at us in this room now, I think. This door seems good and solid.
Like the door to a tomb.
Okay, this is one thing I want to call out. He's got awesome claws in his hands, and he still uses a knife cutter. Why doesn't he just do the thing where he just spins it like Catwoman and just cuts it in that way?
I think that couch will be comfortable. There's some extra bedding, you know.
Yes,
ma'am.
I know it's unrealistic, but it's so impractical.
bolt. Well, that's not so good. What's that for? That, my good woman, is a booby trap. If anybody tries to open this transom, this will be knocked off, and we'll hear it fall.
I forgot my night things, my robe, my gown, and my slippers. I'll go get them now.
Now, wait a minute, Lizzie. I'll go with you.
Now, don't you bother, Miss Cornelia. My room's just down the hall.
Lizzie, I told you to wait.
It's all right. I'll only be a second. Get here. Get.
Yes?
Miss Van Gorder?
Yes?
Zenith Police Department. There's a police car just outside your house, and the officers in it have reported that there's no sign of a prowler anywhere on the grounds.
Oh, the man's inside now. He's in the hall, just outside my bedroom. Have your men break through the kitchen door and search this place from top to bottom.
Okay, Miss Van Gorder. Sit tight.
I will. I have a gun, and I know how to use it. Relax, Lizzie. The police did a good job. They couldn't find anybody in here.
But we both saw him, Miss Cornelia.
All right. So he got away. But there are men on guard outside, so just try and get some rest. There's nothing can get at us here. You've had a nightmare.
Maybe I did. But there was a bat and it bit me. And it flew in that closet.
Oh, good gracious, Lizzie, you're right. Operator, will you get me Dr. Malcolm Wells' office, please? No, I don't know his number, and I have no phone book up here, but this is an emergency. Will you connect me with his office, please?
Oh, dear, I'm going to get the rabies.
Hello? Dr. Wells' office?
This is a call service. Dr. Wells is out at the moment, but if you'll give me your name and number, I'll try to locate him.
Well, this is Miss Van Gorder of the Oaks. My maid has just been bitten by a bat that may be rabid, and she must have treatment as soon as possible. And I was told that Dr. Wells was the nearest physician.
I'll try to find him for you, and if I can't, I'll send you another doctor.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Oh, he's out on a case. Oh, I hope it's not a delivery. A baby, I mean. They can be terribly complicated.
It never bothered me none.
Oh, Lizzie, you never had a baby.
Of course I didn't. That's why they never bothered me.
Oh, does it hurt, huh?
A little.
Aw, you little bat.
I know, I'm exceedingly concerned for the welfare of this real bat they were using.
Yeah. Still not as bad as Swiss Family Robinson, where it's like, oh, the beautiful animals, and you're like, every single one of these was probably abused.
Are you there, Dr. Wells? This is the operator. Your call service is on the wire. It's an emergency.
This is Dr. Wells.
This is your call service, Doctor.
Oh, hello. I was just doing an experiment. I left the receiver off.
That's what I thought, but I kept trying. Miss Van Gorder at the Oaks called and said that her maid had been bitten by a bat, and she's afraid it might be rabbit.
What? Oh, all right. Tell her I'll be right over there.
Now I can think of it as the Bela Lugosi one, where he, the Devil Bat, where its entire plot of Bela Lugosi making giant radioactive mutant bats to attack people. Because that's the most, succinct way of exacting revenge. Mutant devil bats. That's also another fun one. No idea what that's even supposed to be.
That's the appropriate response, though. It's alright, I'm just close.
I'm gonna look a little bit miffed and just turn this down again. Yeah, I'm
Who's there?
Dr. Wells.
Come in.
Good evening.
Oh, I'm so glad they found you, Doctor.
Well, I reached my office shortly after you called. How is your maid? Is she in any pain?
No, she doesn't seem to be.
Did the bat get away?
No, I believe it's still in my bedroom.
Oh, good. I'll want to examine it. There you go, Miss Allen. Now you feel better?
Doctor, have I got the rabies?
Well, I can tell you better after I've examined the bat's brain under a microscope.
That thing's got a brain?
Oh, you'd be surprised. Well, where is it?
I think the little darling is in that closet.
Oh. You know, it's a pity you leased this house, Miss Van Gorder.
Why a pity?
Well, my dear lady, I don't want to alarm you, but...
Oh, well, after tonight, nothing can alarm me.
Yes, I understand. It must have been terrifying. So many unexplainable things have happened here. There's something about the place. Your servants must have sensed it when they walked out on you. An apprehension of disaster.
I think I played guitar for apprehension of disaster.
Aha! Yes. There he is. All right, now. Take it easy. Nobody's going to hurt you. Quiet now. Quiet.
Well, that was a bold-faced lie. No one's going to hurt you, my ass.
Until I look at your little brain.
Looks quite normal. Doesn't seem to be sick at all.
Oh, ain't that nice? I've been worried about him.
Well, you should be. From his appearance, I'd say that he doesn't have any infection. In which case, you've had a narrow escape. Now, you take one of those tablets I left for you, and I'll guarantee you a good night. And I'll drop in on you tomorrow.
Oh, thanks for everything, Doctor.
Now, don't worry. I can find my way out.
Oh, I know you can, but do let me help you.
Oh, don't forget that once I'm gone, you'll have to climb those stairs alone.
Oh, I'm all right. I'm armed now.
Oh.
Can you shoot one of those things without shutting your eyes?
Oh, Doctor, there are guns in every book I've ever written. I don't write about things I'm unfamiliar with.
Like murdering people.
Good night.
Yes, ma'am. Good night, Doctor.
Accident?
No, the wind blew him down.
Oh.
I think.
Oh. Did you know that young Mark Fleming leased you this house without notifying his uncle?
No, I didn't.
Well, it doesn't matter now. John Fleming is dead and Mark's his heir. But if John were alive, he would warn you to leave here, Miss Van Gorder.
Really?
Yes. It's been a tragic place for anyone who ever lived in it. Well, good night.
Good night, Doctor.
It's the ghost of
Who's out there?
Calamity Jane.
Nobody you need worry about, Doctor.
Oh, it's Andy.
That's right. Oh, good evening, Miss Van Gorder.
Good evening, Lieutenant.
Somebody sick here?
My maid was bitten by a bat.
Oh? A rabid bat?
Well, I'll know for sure when I get to my lab. I caught the bat.
It happened indoors?
In my bedroom.
How'd it get in?
Well, there are many ways a bat could get in a house.
You ought to know. I spotted this hole in the window the minute I got here.
Why?
That's where the two-legged bat got your door open.
Miss Van Gorder told me that she phoned headquarters at Zenith.
Yes, I phoned twice. The second time was after the prowler got in the house.
Weren't you at headquarters, Andy?
No, but they contacted me.
An officer came and searched the house from top to bottom, but they couldn't find the bat.
You better have this window fixed tomorrow.
Oh, yes, I certainly shall.
Listen, I'd better be going. I'm due in surgery at 8 o'clock in the morning. Good night.
Good night, Doctor.
There'll be a man patrolling the grounds all night, Miss Van Gorder.
Oh, thank you.
And nobody inside, Andy?
Why should there be?
Well, how do you know but what the bat is hiding somewhere in the house?
I'm quite sure he isn't in the house, Doctor. Not now.
That's ominous.
Good night.
Or accusatory.
Yeah, he's laying it on a little thick there.
They always do in these movies. I love it so. Hello, Princeton from the future again. I mentioned before we originally watched this on Stream Lounge. Now, what the hockey stick says that, I hear you ask? Well, let me tell you about it. No, this isn't a paid promotion. I just think it's kind of neat. Stream Lounge is a platform that's half Netflix party, half Twitch stream. You can use it with a group of friends to watch a movie together, but it works best as a way for a host or a horror host to live stream a movie and have everyone hear the host while they talk via chat in the text box. What movies can they stream? Well, almost any movie or TV show on any major streaming service. YouTube, Hulu, Netflix, Shudder, even Disney+. But surely that's illegal, you say. Well, no. They get around that because in order to watch the show, the viewer has to have access to that streaming platform too. So if you stream a free movie on YouTube, everyone can watch it. But if you stream something from Disney+, only Disney+ subscribers can see it. So it's all legal. Best of all, it does record the broadcast, so if you miss it, you can watch it later. I've only hosted 2 shows on Stream Lounge so far, but Ruby Tombsday has hosted dozens. I recommend you check it out. You might find your new favorite host, or become one yourself. And now, back to the year 2022.
Hi, Andy. Hello, Mark. Well, congratulations. Real estate business must be picking up. New office, new furniture.
New deal. How do you like it?
It looks expensive. Are you squandering your inheritance?
Oh, I haven't got it yet.
Well, the paper says John Fleming left his entire fortune to you.
Funny thing about that entire fortune is that we can't find it.
No kidding.
Oh, all Uncle John had in his bank account was a couple of $100. And his safe deposit box was empty.
If we don't find that missing million, mine will be empty, too.
How come?
Well, all my savings were invested in Zenith Bank stock. The examiners won't certify the bank as solvent until those stolen securities are found. So the stockholders have voted an assessment that will wipe some of us out. It's a since those securities have been converted into cash. And if I can't find that cash, I'm sunk.
Well, where are you going to look for it, Andy?
Here in Zenith. Your uncle wouldn't take $1 million on a hunting trip, would he?
You suspect Uncle John? Why, Andy, he founded the Zenith Bank. That'd be like robbing the family tomb.
You think he wouldn't?
Well, besides, Vic Bailey's fingerprints are all over the vault. Now, they didn't find any of Uncle John's fingerprints.
Because he wiped him off.
Can the defense prove that?
They'll try to. Judy Hollander, Bailey's secretary, is a defense witness. And they believe her testimony will have a powerful effect on the jury.
Oh, well, she has a powerful effect on me. Judy's a doll.
Here's the book you mentioned, Judy.
It's your newest one.
Yes, it's just been published. You can have that copy if you wish.
Oh, it's a first edition and you've signed it.
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much.
May I serve tea now, Miss Van Gorder?
Yes, please do, Warner.
Thank you.
Well, I see you've engaged new servants.
Yes, of course.
Well, how did you persuade them to live in this house?
Well, Jane Patterson, my new housekeeper, knows this house better than you do, Doctor.
Oh?
She worked for John Fleming. And Warner was my chauffeur.
Chauffeur turned butler?
Incredible. He can play any part at a moment's notice. Did you get a plumber, Warner?
No, we can't get a plumber for 3 days, madam.
What about that leaking pipe? The basement will be flooded in 3 days.
The pipe is no longer leaking.
You mean it's dried up of its own accord?
No, not quite. I packed the elbow where the water was coming out.
Packed the elbow?
Thank you, madam.
Now, there's a character.
How long did you say that he worked for you as chauffeur?
About 3 months.
Well, I hope he doesn't have a police record. My dear Dale, it may interest you to know that the last night of his life, John Fleming told me that he loved your husband like a son. If Fleming were alive today, he would be fighting to prove Vic's innocence.
Could Mr. Fleming prove his own innocence?
Miss Van Gorder, can there be any doubt about it?
There will be when Miss Hollander testifies at Vic's trial.
Oh? You know something that we haven't heard yet, Judy?
Something I saw with my own eyes. She's not permitted to say what it was.
My dear girl, I wouldn't think of asking her. But let's assume for a moment that Fleming did steal the $1 million. Now, what would he do about it? Where is it?
Hidden someplace where he could lay his hands on it without getting caught in the act. Now, if I was writing this, instead of living in the middle of it, I'd hide it right here in this spooky old house.
Under a loose floorboard or up a chimney?
If Mr. Fleming had the nerve to steal $1 million, he'd make his plans well in advance. I'd say he'd prepare a place to hide it. Possibly when this house was being built. Now, I rented this place from Mark Fleming, his nephew. I wonder if he'd have the floor plans.
I'll ask him.
Yes. Lizzie, will you bring Mrs. Bailey the phone? Oh, you ask him now. Okay. His number is Summit 7537.
Oh, thank you, Lizzie. Summit
7537.
Not bad, eh, Andy? That means new business. Now, you see, somebody wants to buy a house. Mark Fleming speaking. Oh, hello, Dale. Well, hang on a minute, honey, while I see if I have him. It's Dale Bailey, all excited. Miss Van Gorder wants to know if I have the floor plans of the Oaks. Now, what would she want with the floor plans?
Well, she suggested to me that your uncle might have hidden the bank loot there. Are the plans here?
Well, they're somewhere in the house itself. Wait a minute, there is a place where Uncle Johnny might have kept those blueprints.
What place?
Well, I heard him talk about it a good many years ago. I can't be sure of the exact location. Anyway, I don't think the old boy had the guts to steal $1 million. But if I find those plans, I'll let you know, Andy. Hello, Dale. Look, honey, I haven't seen those plans since I was a kid, but I'll come over tonight and maybe we can find them.
Thank you, Mark. We'll expect you. He seems to think they're here in the house somewhere. He's coming over tonight.
Well, that's good. Dale and Judy are my house guests for the weekend. Would you like to have dinner with us tonight?
Oh, no, thank you. I couldn't. I still have a few calls.
So tall.
You know, if Judy's testimony is going to clear Vic Bailey and implicate John Fleming, others may get the idea that there's buried treasure in this house. Don't even mention your testimony until you're actually on the stand.
Oh, I won't.
That's a smart girl, Judy. And a very lovely girl. Well, good afternoon, ladies.
Goodbye,
Doctor.
Dr. Willard.
Come on, girls, let's go.
I should be putting them down on paper. Weren't you your husband's secretary, Dale?
Yes, I was.
Do you take shorthand?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my dear, if you'd like to have your mind occupied, I want you to work with me while I write the story of this fantastic criminal, the Bat.
As usual.
Wonderful. Oh, what a lovely piece of silver. It's an original, isn't it?
Yes, they still use them in England for buffet breakfasts. I've got water in the bottom. Should keep us hot, your sausages and your scrambled eggs. Interesting. It's very useful. Really nice. Clock hasn't struck the hour in the last 10 years, if I'm to believe what Mark Fleming told me.
Why is it angled away from the wall like that?
I don't know. Somebody must have moved it.
Lizzie, very likely when she was dusting.
Wait a minute. Did you know there's a door in this paneling?
No, I didn't.
Oh, my gracious, so there is.
Maybe it opens to a secret passage.
Oh, certainly to a secret something.
Who knows, girls? We'll be about to stumble on that missing million.
Oh, panel. There's a panel. There must be some gimmick to it. There always is.
Yes, move.
All right, so we're about at the halfway point. So let's go ahead and take a break. How are people liking the film so far? Kelly, what's your thoughts?
I'm really enjoying it. I haven't seen this before, but I've seen Vincent Price in many of these older movies like this. I think it's a kind of a novel monster concept.
Agree. It's kind of neat. Definitely plays like an old serial killer, Jack the Ripper kind of figure, but it's so wonderfully stylized that it comes across almost in like the slasher character kind of genres. It's a pre-slasher slasher. It's going around slitting people's throats, with steel-like claws before Freddy Krueger. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So one of the particular reasons I wanted to pick this particular movie is because this is going to be a big support for the Trevor Project. So I was trying to look for old classic movies that had some kind of LGBTQA themes in there. And my sister pointed out, when you look at it, this is a movie that starts off with two women living together for 20 plus years, all by themselves, on a very personal first name basis. And starts off with two men, one of which is Vincent Price, who is a secretly known actual bisexual man, all alone on a hunting trip. So it starts off with two somewhat ambiguously, possibly gay characters. And I was like, that isn't a very interesting spin that you'll think about. It's really, of course, it's just an interpretation. It doesn't have to be taken that way. But it could very easily be interpreted as that.
Yeah, it has the Haunting vibes at a couple of moments, doesn't it?
Exactly. The Haunting was another on my list of like, oh, this is another pro LGBTQ.
The Haunting is much less subtle.
Yeah, that's true. That one actually has an openly bi character, isn't that correct?
I believe so, and she's very forward towards another female in the movie. So. Not the remake with Owen Wilson. I cannot stress enough to not watch that one.
I saw that one in the movie theaters, and
well, actually, it's actually a pretty good bad movie watch. It's got some really ridiculous scenes.
All I know is, I agree, but Owen Wilson's character in that is for someone who just joined. Hello, Theo. For people who the new Haunting, if you ask me. Owen Wilson's character is so extremely irritable and unlikable. I'm not saying Owen Wilson is, but his character is so amazingly unlikable. In a horror film, nobody dies for the first, I think, 70 minutes, and about 10 minutes before the end, Owen Wilson's character dies. And in the movie theater, everyone cheered because we were just done with him.
Yeah.
But the other reason I think this is also because Agnes Moorehead was in Bewitched. Which, if any of you know, they're watching an old movie with Vincent Price on a Saturday night instead of going to a club. Yeah, they're old. Thank you, Murray. And have you ever seen Bewitched? I didn't realize watching as a kid that it's very much as a gay metaphor TV show. So I just thought I'd point that out. It's very interesting because when you think about it, it's about a mortal who marries a woman who's secretly a witch, and it's all about acting normal around the neighbors so the neighbors don't find out and don't get outed. And it's very much a lot of subtle themes that the authors were very aware of. One of the writers, for example, created a show, said, we want to make this show that was all about fighting bigotry. And I always assumed growing up that, that meant they're going to be saying about, interracial marriages and stuff like that. Well, that's part of it. But actually, a lot of the actual cast members and crew were actually gay too. Dick Sargent, who replaced Dick York, he was actually secretly a gay person until about the 90s when he came out. Paul Lynde, who plays the uncle, was very much a gay character. The actress who played their maid was a bisexual actress in there. There's even rumors of Agnes Moorehead being bi or lesbian. However, she has openly refuted that, so I'm going to not put her in there because that doesn't sound like something she wanted in her lifetime. And Samantha Montgomery, Miss Montgomery, I can't remember her first name off the top of my head, herself was not gay, but she was a very strong ally. For her entire life, she was a huge proponent of LGBTQ and huge supporter of getting information out about the AIDS crisis. So, and was a good friend of Dick Sargent to their dying day, including in 1992, the two of them were co-grand marshals of the Los Angeles Pride Parade. So I thought I'd voice that. That's another reason why I share this one, because I thought that'd be a nice story.
That's great. I appreciate you picking kind of a lesser known gem too. I think it's the first time for a lot of us seeing this movie.
So I also had a song too. Should I do that now or should I do it at the end?
A song.
Would that be too terrible to hear?
No.
Right.
Like you're performing a song? Oh, great.
Please don't. Sorry, Murray. I'm doing it. All right. And the auto harp, for anyone who's interested, what the heck this hellish instrument is. It is, in theory, one of the most brilliant instruments to ever be created. In practice and execution, not necessarily so much. But normally when I do these shows, the Princeton Vice shows, it's Princeton Vice Monster Sitter. And it's got a whole kid-friendly theme. And I really enjoy doing that. It's it's very close and dear to my heart. But it means that's where my brain automatically goes whenever I think of any single type of songs. Hey, that matches my outfit? I guess it does. All right. And if people want to see my shows, they're on YouTube. I also love that it comes with little tiny bat-like claws, too. I didn't even think about that. In old Transylvania, when I was a lad, our castle was poor, but we were never sad. We learned to be happy, we danced to the hall, and learning to count was the key to it all. By counting each count, I knew just where to start, and this little step was close to my heart. 1, 2, 3, twirl round the floor. 1, 2, 3, around. Let's start again. 1, 2, 3, stick out your cape. 1, 2, 3, twirl round the floor. 1, 2, 3, left would you sing. 1, 2, 3, then start to sing. 1, 2, 3, loud as you please. 1, 2, 3, counting with ease. 1, 2, 3, doing the batty bat. Yeah, that was the note. Batty, batty, bat, batty, batty, bat, 2, 3, count. Batty, batty, bat, batty, batty, 1, 2, 3, count. Batty, batty, bat, batty, batty, bat. You dance with me doing the batty bat. Second verse, Now I'm I can see just how wise my... Oh, that is not the right verse. Oh, mercy me. Askins, now my own castle that I can enjoy. This wonderful dance I learned as a boy. See just how wise was my old family. They taught me to count, and now look at me. I'm counting and dancing. Swear that it's true. You can be happy. Maybe this happy too. Oh, that was terribly wrong. 1, 2, 3, stick out your gate. 1, 2, 3, twirl round the floor. 1, 2, 3, what could you sing? 1, 2, 3, then start to sing. 1, 2, 3, pull out the gate. 1, 2, 3, don't you see, doing the batty bat. Batty, batty, bat, batty, batty, bat, batty, did. 1, 2, 3, everybody, batty, bat, batty. Batty, batty, bat, batty, batty, bat, batty, batty, 1, 2, 3, cat. Batty, batty, bat, batty, batty, bat, batty, batty, bat. Won't you dance with me doing the batty bat? Hey! Thank you for listening to that, and I'm putting this infernal contraption away so you never have to hear of it again. Thank you.
That was fabulous.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, shall we go on with the show?
Calling car 11. Calling car 11. Proceed to the Oaks in Zenith Township immediately. A homicide has been reported.
Okay. Proceeding to the Oaks. Notify the county coroner, Dr. Wells. Tell him to come to the Oaks at once.
Horrible. As if his throat has been torn by some creature with fangs or claws.
That's his sign. We found it on the others he killed. I'd hoped those reports that he was up to his old tricks again were pure imagination, but apparently they're based on fact. He's come back. Back to the scene of his kills. Yes, that's who I mean. That's who did this. The bat. Who found Mark?
We all did. And his Dale and Judy and I. Lizzie was in the dining room. This is my new housekeeper, Jane Patterson. You know, she worked for John Fleming.
I know her. Where were you, Mrs. Patterson?
In the kitchen, cleaning up. I cooked the dinner tonight.
Did you know that the secret closet was here?
No. It was behind the grandfather's clock.
Well, it was I who found it, really. Noticed the clock had been moved and the door wasn't quite closed.
I'll get it.
Who is it? Mark Fleming.
As coroner, you saw the same wounds on the others. How long's he been dead?
Oh, I'd say about a half an hour. Do you believe it was the bat?
That's a bat's trademark.
Perhaps he's still in the house.
That's possible.
Why should he be?
Because he's looking for something, and like you, he believes it's here. And he's a persistent killer. I would advise you to get out of this house as quickly as possible, notwithstanding our expert police protection. Have you called the morgue?
They're on their way here.
Oh, good. I want to examine the body before they get here. May we take it into another room?
Yes, to the sunroom in the back.
Thank you. Give me a hand.
Excuse me. Oh, Warner, where have you been?
Well, madam, has been an accident?
There's been a murder. Mark Fleming, the young man from whom I leased this place, was killed here tonight.
They know who did it?
Well, they believe it was the bat.
I'm sorry I had to use the front door, Miss Van Gorder, but I forgot my keys, and when I rang the bell at the kitchen door, there was no response.
Oh, this is Warner, Lieutenant. He's my butler. He was my chauffeur.
Why'd you promote him?
But it's very difficult to find a butler. They don't like service in the country.
Have you been a butler before?
I've served in many capacities, sir, but this was my night off, and I forgot my keys.
I heard that part. What time did you leave the house tonight?
Oh, about 6:30. I had dinner at Wiley's Roadhouse.
Can you prove where you spent the rest of the evening?
I can try.
Try hard. And don't leave the house. I'll get to you later.
Very good, sir. I shall be in my room, Miss Van Gorder, if you need me.
Yes, Warner. Surely you don't think he's...
Warren and I have met before. I can't recall where or when, but I will. There'll be a crew here shortly from headquarters, dusting for fingerprints, taking photographs. But in the meantime, Mrs. Patterson, you aren't leaving the house tonight, are you?
No, Lieutenant.
Don't. I'll talk to you in the morning. Good night.
Good night, sir. Good night, Miss Van Gorder.
Dale, I was with Mark Fleming this afternoon when you talked to him about the floor plans of this house. I heard him tell you he was coming here tonight.
Dale called him at my request. She told me he was coming.
Who else heard her tell you that?
Judy, Lizzie.
And that nice Dr. Wells.
Dr. Wells. There are few killers who kill for the fun of it. The bat very likely is a mental case, and I'm convinced that his crimes are motivated by his mania for personal gain. There's $1 million at large, and he's going to keep on hunting for it until he lays his hands on it. Now, these young ladies are staying here tonight?
Yes, they're my house guests.
Well, when my crew arrives, we'll be busy for a while, so I'd suggest that
we go to our rooms? That's a very good idea. Come on, girls. What about a police guard for this house tonight, Lieutenant?
You've got one. I'm going to cover this place tonight from the attic to the basement. If the bat makes another call, I'll have a little surprise for him.
Who is he? Have you any idea?
He could be anybody. So far, there are clues to his identity, but nothing we could take before a jury. I am afraid we must look higher than the criminal world. He may be a merchant, lawyer, doctor, scientist, one of the pillars of his community. Ladies, lock your doors tonight. Stay behind them. I promise you you'll be safe. Good night.
Good night, Lieutenant. Good night.
So young. Well, Doctor, do you agree it was the bat?
In my report, I shall say the death was caused by the same technique used in the other killings. A paralyzing blow to the throat, followed by severe lacerations of the jugular, resulting in excessive hemorrhage.
In a layman's language, he didn't know what hit him.
Oh, he knew. But he didn't have time to think about it. You staying here tonight, Andy?
Well, until I check the doors and windows, but I'll be back bright and early in the morning.
Neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds.
A lot of people are due for a shock when I close this case.
Yes, I'm sure they are. Good night, Andy. Don't get hurt.
Good night, Doctor.
You know, I think we'd better let you get some sleep.
Oh, Lizzie and I share this room for mutual protection. You know, one night, a storm blew the wires down, put the lights out, and I went out the next day and bought a half a dozen of these things. You better take one with you, Dale.
Oh, thank you.
We'll go across the hall now.
Are you sure there's nothing else you need?
Oh, no. Quite sure. We'll be all right.
Well, if anything bothers you, you just sing out, and 2 strong women will come to your rescue.
Oh, nothing will bother us. Not with Andy on the job. No.
Well, good night.
Good night,
girl.
See you in the
Don't worry, everything will be all right.
Good night.
Good night.
I don't think I'll sleep tonight.
Me neither.
All I can see is poor Mark Fleming staring at us. I thought that when people died, their eyes closed, as in sleep.
Don't think about it.
I'll bet you're thinking about it.
No, I was thinking of my poor husband sleeping in jail tonight. Oh, Judy, I love him so much.
Once again, he could just, like, cut it with his snippet with his claws, which is unrealistic, but they openly have him just like, no, I'm going to actually use a tool awkwardly in one hand while having these giant razor-sharp claws, which I don't use. It's cinema. You could pretend he's cutting it with his claws, but no.
The only thing I can think is that maybe the prop was actually not sharp at all,
Of course.
and therefore they couldn't show anything like that on camera.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying, the magic of cinema. You pre-cut it, and then just have him go snip with his finger after the fact. They have the technology,
I mean, that
you
would
know?
have made the most probably, but maybe they didn't want to bother.
Maybe he doesn't want to sully his killing claws. Oh, no, no, no. These are only going to be sullied with blood, nothing else.
What's that noise?
Oh, I don't know. I kind of fell half asleep. For a moment, I thought it was something from a dream.
It's somewhere in the house.
Yes, on the floor above. Not directly over us. Probably a room overlooking the driveway.
Should we call Miss Van Gorder?
She'll hear it. How can she help but hear it? Oh, besides, we don't want her to think we're a couple of hysterical women.
Well, I'm about to become one.
dear.
I've had it for one night. Dale, you're not going out in that hall.
I want to know what's happening up there.
But Lieutenant Anderson said if we stayed behind our locked doors, we'd be safe.
Vic isn't safe locked up in that jail.
Oh, but
suppose that stolen money is in this house. Mark Fleming seemed to think it was. Maybe that's what somebody's looking for.
Oh, for heaven's sake, don't you hear that awful noise up there? Now, Libby, you've just got to stay awake. The house phone and the outside phone wires have been cut, and we can't get help. Where's that policeman? Oh, I don't know. Something must have happened to him. Now, go on, get on your robe.
Oh, Dale, please don't go up there. I've got to. Think what it could mean to Vic. Now, you stay here.
Oh, no. If you go, I go.
This is another slasher-type moment.
Don't go in there.
It's coming from inside the house.
It really is. It really is. It's definitely a pre-slasher kind of film.
You stay here.
No, I won't let you go up there alone.
You wait here. I'm going to see what it is.
Oh, please let me go with you.
Judy, will you warn me if anyone comes? I'll only be a moment.
Now, wait.
And the shorter one, by the way, Judy, is played by Darla Hood, who was a child actor from the R Gang, aka the Little Rascal series. This is actually her last film. I think she retired from acting shortly afterwards.
Give her to me. I'll look after her. Poor baby.
Judy. bat?
Wow. Yes, the bat. He caught her at the head of the stairs. We saw him rushing down the stairs as we came out of the room. I hurled that after him. I hit him, I believe. I'm going to cover this place from attic to basement, you said. Well, what were you covering when that poor child was murdered? Where were you?
I saw a man outside in the grounds. I went out there and hunted him. I heard him in among the trees, and so I followed the sound of him as far as the brook down near the back road. And then I lost him. I'd rather give my own life than have this happen to Judy. But I told you to stay in your rooms and lock your doors and stay there. What was she doing at the head of those stairs?
That was my fault. They heard a strange noise. Heavy pounding in one of the rooms on the 3rd floor. We all heard it.
I wanted to see what it was. Judy, I wish she wouldn't let me go out by myself. I made her stay on the balcony.
What about your new butler?
Oh, well, he's in his room, I suppose.
Oh, Mrs. Patterson.
Oh, yes.
Did you know what happened here?
No, sir, but I heard the screams. I went to call Warner. We have rooms on the same floor, but he wasn't in his room. His bed hasn't been slept in.
If Mrs. Patterson heard the screams, Warner could certainly hear them.
You're quite right, sir. I heard them.
Oh, you did? And where were you?
Outside in the grounds.
Miss Holland has been murdered.
No.
Oh, so you're surprised. Shocked. Well, I've seen better performances. I remember you now. Your name's not Warner. I've got a circular in my office with your picture on it. The Chicago police not so long ago were hunting for you in connection with the robbery.
You're right again, sir. And they found me and they tried me and I proved my innocence and I was acquitted.
That could have been a lucky break. Where were you when this child was killed?
I told you before, sir. Outside.
What were you doing there?
I was following you. I saw you leaving the house and it seemed that you were hunting someone. I thought you might need some help. Oh, yes, sir. I followed your flashlight down through the trees. Then it disappeared. And then suddenly, as I was staring out into the darkness, I was struck by something on the back of the head. The next thing I knew, I was lying on the ground. I realized I'd been knocked out.
I wish you had been knocked out. But then we'd have found you with your mask still on your face. You were hit here in this house with this poker as you were rushing down those stairs after that child was
Oh,
killed.
no, sir. You can't pin this on me. I'm not the bat. I've never killed. I couldn't kill. I won't take the rap for this.
Well, Doctor, we have another case for the county coroner. You see, the bat came back. Why did you come back, Doctor?
Well, I had an accident about a mile down the road. The right rear wheel of my car came off, and I plunged into the ditch. This was the nearest house, so I came here to call for help. I thought I'd find you around, Andy.
Physician, heal thyself. You must have been hit by something on the back of your head.
I told you I had an accident.
So you did, Doctor. So you did. I could be wrong. But maybe I'm not. We shall see.
Hi, I'm Kelly.
And I'm Leandra, and we host Rocky Horror Minute,
the podcast where we discuss the Rocky Horror Picture Show in excruciating detail, 1 minute at a time.
We're doing this show to share our love of the lyrics. You've never seen a prune in real life?
No! Okay. They're not the same as raisins, right? Our passion for performance.
Oh my god! I was like, bad knees, stupid, sober.
Our attention to detail. I know that everybody's curious. That car is a 1964 Ford Falcon Deluxe Sedan 4-door 54D.
And to unlock secrets that would otherwise be lost to time.
Oh, are you asking if I know the name of the cheetah and why it had such a problem with the snake? Visit us on the web at rockyhorrorminute.com for more information.
Or look for us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, let's start a new chapter. For days, the murders held the headlines. Lieutenant Anderson grilled us and ransacked the house from top to bottom. Warner was not placed under arrest, but his every move was watched. At night, except for a detective on guard in the house, the police and the reporters left us alone. And on one of those nights, without telling Lizzie or anyone else, I pursued a secret investigation of my own. It was in an empty room on the 3rd floor where we kept our trunks and other things.
Put him up, Pat. It's a bright idea to kill me in my own lab and let people think that I'm the bat. But you had to kill me first. What was it to be, ambush? And clever as you are, you're not smart enough to do that. Nor were you smart enough to find the money, though you came quite close to it. But I know where it is. And when you're dead with that sign pinned on your chest, I'm going to collect it and live happily ever after. He destroyed himself. How true that will be. Well, goodbye, Bat. Here's a serum that will heal you whether you're rabid or not.
Shot himself, even though the gun was clearly, like, pointing that way. Please don't threaten people with exposure. This is a kid show. Vincent Price is dead. Or is he? He's actually dead. Also find that if you try to light something in the fireplace, because he just would go nowhere. That's a
That's a carbon monoxide hazard. I say, I'm really surprised it's not a bookshelf. It's always a bookshelf.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Miss Cornelia! Miss Cornelia! Now, where would she be going at this time of night? Well, land's sake. I never. Oh. Mr. Davenport. Mr. Davenport. Oh, a fine thing. The door unbolted, the chain off, and you asleep on the job. Wait till Lieutenant Anderson hears about this. Come on, wake up. What's the matter with you?
I don't know. My head hurts. My whole body's numb.
Here, take a sip of this. Try to snap out of it. I'll be back in a minute. Hurry, will you? It's Lizzie. I'm terribly worried. I can't find Miss Cornelia anywhere, and something's happened to the policeman. I don't know what. Get Warner. Bring him to the drawing room. Tell him we need him. Are you all right now?
Yeah, I'll be all right in a minute. I remember now. I took a drink of wine from that decanter there. Miss Van Gorder told me to help myself.
She wouldn't put nothing in it?
Well, somebody did. Somebody who knew I was on duty here.
Then it was somebody that got Miss Van Gorder. I can't find her anywhere. Upstairs, downstairs, or in the basement. I told the housekeeper to get Warner.
Lieutenant Anderson will want to know about this. Hello. Yeah, this is Davenport at the Oaks. We've got trouble here. Well, for one thing, I was drugged. Yeah. But I must have been knocked out because the maid tells me Miss Van Gorder is missing. Well, you better call Anderson and let him know. He's not at home. Well, where is he? Out on a case? What case? Dr. Wells. What else did they tell you about it?
Oh, hurry, will you? We've got to find Miss Cornelia.
Okay. Lieutenant Anderson is out on a case. Dr. Wells was found dead in a room next to his garage, murdered.
Dr. Wells?
There's something queer about the killing of Wells, but headquarters won't talk about it.
Something queer about this whole movie.
Warner isn't in his room. There's no sign of him anywhere.
And I was supposed to keep an eye on that guy.
Where's Miss Cornelia? That's what I want to know.
Wait a minute. Didn't you say that the chain and the bolt were off of the front door?
I certainly did.
Well, maybe Miss Van Gorder went outside.
Oh, she never would. We better look.
I can't breathe. There's no air.
Miss Cornelia.
Oh, Miss Van
Miss
Gorder.
Cornelia. Miss Cornelia.
Miss Van Gorder.
Look. There's a light in that room on the 3rd floor. Were you up there tonight?
Well, of course I was, but I turned the lights out before I came downstairs.
Then Miss Cornelia might have turned them on again. That's why we're going to look first. Come on.
Van Gorder. What do we do now?
Over the mantel, there are 5 panels. Strike it with your hand.
Which panel did you say, Miss Van Gorder?
Oh, my hand. I just hand.
Miss Van Gorder, which panel? We couldn't hear you.
She said strike it. What difference does it make which panel? Strike them all.
I like her. She's practical.
Look.
It's all right now. It's all right, dear. Lizzie's here.
Feeling better?
Yes, much better.
We'll take you to your room.
Oh, no, you won't. I'm going to stay right here. I'm quite all right. Oh, how blessed it is to breathe without an effort. You know, no one knows how sweet the air can taste until someone shuts it off for a moment. That room is just like a box. When the mantelpiece closed, it seemed like all the air was drawn out of it. Look, there it goes again.
Let it close. I can open it from in here. There's a control panel behind this blueprint. Electric motor under the trap door here. Once the door is open, you can keep it that way. I believe that the fireplace in this other room opens the same way. And it does.
I tried to find this, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it's back at this blueprint here. Well, it's quite a setup. Too bad we can't open that safe in the same way. Take an expert to crack this box or a shot of nitro.
Oh, maybe that's what the bat had in mind.
Could be. Seems he's on the prowl tonight.
Miss Van Gorder, Warner has disappeared.
And Dr. Wells has been murdered.
Dr. Wells?
Lieutenant Anderson's on that case right now.
Well, does he know what happened here tonight?
They got word to him. He'll be here any minute.
What's that noise? Miss Van Gorder, the garage is on fire.
Scott, look at that.
Lizzie, put that light out in the other room. Now, where are you going?
To report the fire.
Well, you just stay right here.
But Miss Van Gorder, the garage.
Well, let it burn. You watch the stair. Can't you see that fire was set to get us out of the house?
Out of the house? Were you talking about the...
Yes, I'm talking about the bat. Now that the lights are out, he'll think his trick has worked, and we've gone. He'll be here any minute.
Well, so will Lieutenant Anderson.
I hope so, but the bat will be here first. And he'll kill again if we're in his way. We've got to be as clever as he is.
Guitar chord. It's weird that his, like, you know, signature is like surf slide guitar.
You'll be safer downstairs. I'll take care of you.
Well, the others can go, but I'm going to stay right here.
All right, but get out of sight.
Let's face it, ladies, and get it over with. Others have seen my face before they died, but I'll have to deny you that pleasure. This would make a good scene for your book, Miss Van Gorder. but I'm afraid you'll never write it.
That is Warner. I could tell.
You misjudged me, Miss Ellen.
Warner!
I don't like being a murder suspect, Miss Van Gorder. I was headed for a plane, but halfway to the airport, I changed my mind and came back. I'm glad that I did.
Why, it's Lieutenant Anderson.
Yes, it was Anderson. He'd discovered the secret of the hidden room and was waiting to get into it and open up the safe. We found the money in it. A little over $1 million in tens and twenties and hundreds. Good old Andy. With all his ill-gotten gains invested in bank stock. It's rather a clever way to hide stolen money. In the open, as it were. And so respectable. But don't try it. No matter how clever you are, you can't hide murder.
Not the best closing line.
Well,
Yeah, I would say
That's
that
it,
that's
dear.
been disproven many
That's
times.
All right, so that is the end of our film. Thank you for watching that. One thing to clear up at the end, I always was like looking at like, we have this weird butler, Warner, who secretly is like, I was going to get on a plane, but decided to come back. And I was like, oh, is there some, I looked at the original play, is there any particular reason? Like, is he an actual, FBI agent or Interpol or something trying to track down the bat? No, they give no reason. He's just the chauffeur / butler with a strange British accent. No explanation. I think the original play, it was Anderson was the bat. But it turns out that the person who secretly comes in and saves them at the moment is the real Inspector Anderson, and the person who is Anderson in the Bat was pretending to be the police chief the entire time. And you're like, what? Because you know who's really easy to impersonate? A police chief. Kelly, I'm going to ask your opinion on it in a moment, but I personally loved it. It was fun. It was cheesy and over the top. But it's kind of nice. I wish some of the dialogue was a little bit more snippy than snappy than I had hoped. But there's some fun little character moments.
Oh yeah, no, I had a great time. It's something I love about these older movies is they tend to be shorter, and so they move along at a decent little clip. They're rarely really slow the way a lot of newer movies can be if they've kind of padded their runtime.
Agreed.
I would love to get back to the era of 90 minutes being the standard.
This is true. I think the common one is that people don't, what hits me is weirdest is I think it's often at the ending, because you'll often have, this is the reveal, this is the monster, this is that, boom, and then credits will just roll, and you're just like, wow, there's no denouement. They just like, boom, ending.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess, like, the thought is that, like, the big reveal is, they don't want any denouement.
No.
It's like, all right, we got what we came for.
That's true. I mean, that's the interesting part. The rest of it is just filler. And, Kelly, do you have any other fun trivia or facts?
This is one that's close to my heart. Does anybody know what movie Rita Mae Brown wrote the screenplay for? She was the author of Ruby Fruit Jungle, which of course is a classic lesbian novel. But she also wrote a classic slasher, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. Even before I knew she wrote it, knowing that a lesbian wrote it.
Ruby Goes Jones. Isn't that a Denny's meal?
It's the Breakfast of Champions.
No, I don't know.
That would be the Slumber Party Massacre.
Ah.
which if you've not seen the Slumber Party Massacre, drop everything. It is really like one of the away from.
Oh, thank you very much. I will definitely check that one out. Plug what's coming up next. Where else can we see what you do, Cal?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, I am one of the two hosts of Rocky Horror Minute, which is a podcast where we discuss the Rocky Horror Picture Show in excruciating detail 1 minute at a time. Also, if you are in the DC area, Leandra and I both are on the Sonic Transducers, which is the DC Rocky Horror Cast. So on the second weekend of every month, you can come see us perform there.
Thank you much. And you can find me at Twitter on @Princeton Vice. You can also find me on YouTube at Princeton Vice Presents. And thank you so much for being with me, Kelly.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Well, that's it for Princeton of the past. We hope you liked the stream. Should we do more live streams? Let us know in the comments. And if you haven't already, please consider donating to the Trevor Project. It's such a great cause. Because Pride isn't just about celebrating, it's about surviving. And as always, eat, drink, and be scary, for tomorrow we die.
And now look at me, I'm counting and dancing. Swear that it's true. You can be happy. Maybe this happy too. Oh, that was terribly wrong. 1, 2, 3, stick out your gate. 1, 2, 3, twirl around the floor. 1, 2, 3, what don't you sing? 1, 2, 3, then start to sing. 1, 2, 3, pull out the gate. 1, 2, 3, don't you see, doing the batty bat. Batty batty bat, batty batty bat, batty did. 1, 2, 3, everybody, batty bat, batty. Batty batty bat, batty batty bat, batty batty. 1, 2, 3, cat. Batty bat, batty batty bat, batty batty bat. Won't you dance with me doing the batty bat? Hey! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I don't do live theater anymore.